Okay, so we're just going to spend a few minutes looking at the fundamentals of programming. So, always good to remember that programming is just inputs and outputs. Inputs from the keyboard to the microprocessor, does some processing, and we get an output. Now, first of all, we have variables. So variables are just named values. So x equals 10. And functions are just named blocks of code, usually named to what the function does. And then we have program flow. So program flow is the way that we are able to control the flow of our program. And the main ways that we would do that would be using while loops, for loops, and if statements. Now, last of all, we have objects and events. So objects are just all of the above put in a big thing called a class. Pretty simple. And then events are almost exactly the same as functions, but a bit like a special function in one way, because it's when something happens. So when you click your mouse, something will happen. Now we'll just have a quick look at variables, functions, and program flow in a bit more detail. So here we go. We have variables. So I have an example here in C#. So as you can see, we have our integer, a equals 12, our string, and our double. And I've also done an example in Python. And as you can see, they're slightly different because in Python we don't need to declare the variable type. So it's just a equals 12. But if we wanted to add 10 and 12 together, a and b, we'd have to cast it. So in Python, we'd need a new variable, d, and then equals a, plus, and because we're casting it to an integer from a string, it's int b. And very similar in C# as well, so it's just our variable d equals a plus, but it's very slightly different because we use int.parse b, slightly. Then we have functions. So we have our return type, an integer, our name, usually named to what the function does, and our parameters. So parameters are optional. And then we have our curly brackets, which helps us identify the block of code. And inside there we just have return a times b. And in Python we also have another function. So we have def, short for definition, our name, multiply, and again we're not declaring the type, so it's just a and b. And it's always very important to remember that in Python, a block of code is always identified by indentation level. So it just return a times b, and because we're casting it to an integer, oh wait, I forgot, and I'll just flip over to Visual Studio 2013, and here's a program I wrote earlier that will show us the output of our function here. So I'll just run that, and there we go. Move that to the screen. So it's 1, and there we go. Right at the top we can see the output was 20 because I input two variables which were 4 and 5. So flip back over. Yep, there we go. And we'll just, so we have program flow now, and we have while loops. So just a quick overview of while loops is while a condition is met, execute this block of code. That's it. So in our example here we have our variable, so int a equals 1, and then our loop. So while a, which is 1, is less or equal to 5, execute this block of code, and our block of code is outputting a to the screen and incrementing it by 1. Then it'll go back to the beginning check this condition, because A will now be 2, and check if it's less or equal to 5, which it is. So it will output 8 to the screen and increment it by 1. So A is now 3. And in Python, we have the same. Our variable, A equals 1, and our loop. Well, A is less or equal to 5, print A to the screen and increment it by 1. So it's the same program, which will also show us the output of that while loop. So I'll run that again. There we go. So 2, and there we have it. Right at the top it's 1 to 5. So yeah, let's flip back over quickly. So that's while loops. Then we have for loops. So just quick overview of for loops. Just to execute a block of code a set number of times, really. So our loop is for, and then we have our loop variable, which is int a equals 1, and 1 is our starting point. And then we have our condition, so it's a, 1, is less or equal to 8, increment it, add 1. And then a block of code, which is just outputting a to the screen. And then it will increment it by 1, so a is now 2. It will check the condition, and if it's true, it will output a to the screen and increment it by 1, so a is now 3. And in Python it's very different, because we have a start, stop, and a step. So starting at 1, we stop at 9, although it'll fail at 9, so really it'll just stop at 8. And then we have our step, so we're stepping by 1 to 9. And then again, it's just print a to the screen. So I'll flip over again to my program. Hold on, it's going to stop that. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll just have a look at the output. So that's our for loop there. I'll just run that. And it's 1 to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm sure you know how to count away though. So it's for loops. Now we have if statements. So another quick overview is, if a condition is met, execute this block of code, else execute this block of code. So in our example, we have our two variables, int a equals 2 and int b equals 3, and then our statement. So if a, and this is an equality test, so it's double equals, so if a equals b, execute this block of code, which has values are the same, and else, so if a and b aren't equal, execute this block of code, which says values are different. And in Python, quite similar, our variables, and then our statement. So if a, another equality test, is equal to b, print values are the same, else print values are different. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you learned a thing or two. Yeah.